Bow to the First Order. Alright, today's video is going to be about my kind of theory crafts with how I'm gonna probably go about using my new Hux and Sith Trooper. Mostly about Hux though. I think Hux, you're gonna get a lot more use out of Hux here. Stormtrooper, or not Stormtrooper, Sith Trooper is a bit trickier, although he will be really good with Hux because they have some kind of dual synergies there with the cleansing and stuff like that. And so just like some first order synergies, I guess you could say, and more advantage. I don't think he's going to be that useful once he's at low gear. He's an attacker, so typically attackers need to get gear 12, gear 13, so they can actually do some big DPS and help out in that department. And guess what? One of the biggest things that this entire team lacks is DPS. So it's hard for me to really recommend using all of these guys with Sith Trooper in here. And for that reason, I'm not going to have a bunch of teams with Sith Trooper. I think he's a great character, but low gear and low star, he's probably not going to go and fit well into many teams. So today we have 5, really 6 teams. I threw in another 6th one down here with crew. 6 teams that you can really use offensively, but mostly defensively. I think I have 4 teams here that are probably some of the best defensive teams you can see or to use. So to start this off, and to preface any of this, Hux is Cup, and Sith Trooper is Mob Enforcer, respectively, guys. You gotta respect the Cup and the Mob Enforcer, okay? So this is with Hux lead, and Hux lead, guys, if you didn't know, it gives you, let's go over to it. It's right here, you can see final text, they deal 50% more damage on basics, and then Hux gains, not everybody, but only him, he gains dominance at the start of each of his turns if he didn't already have it. It cannot be dispelled or prevented, and dominance expires whenever he is critically hit. And what dominance says here is enemies cannot counterattack. First order allies gain 100% counter chance and 50% critical damage. So partnering that with also his unique here, where he gains advantage for the start of for 2 turns at the start of each encounter, and while he has advantage, nobody can gain bonus TM, or enemies can't gain bonus TM. So partnering that, you come back in game, and what these teams here with Hux lead are, for me, what I'm trying to do here in Theorycraft a little bit, is to stop those typical counters that you might see. I don't see this really working out too well versus CLS because you know, Han Chewie, if they are gear 12, maybe even gear 13, that will smush a low and squishy, a really squishy Hux. I don't even think Hux will do much of any good versus CLS, even when he's gear 13 and all maxed out. So what we're trying to do here is kind of stomp out those JTRs, those trooper teams, and literally any team that gains TM, and they are centered and they are shaped around the TM gain, and also the being able to for the first order to counterattack a lot. So anybody that can do big hits. The people I'm thinking here that counter, we already mentioned JTR and the troopers, Imperial troopers, but I really think this could do some nice work versus clones. No GS though. GS will probably smush this. I'm thinking like a Rex team maybe with all that TM gain. Literally any team in game you can think of that can generate TM. This Hux lead is what I'm trying to make it and build it for. So this team up top here, this is with Hux lead, this is with Sith Trooper here, and with Stormtrooper, Special Forces, and Kylo. There's not a whole lot of DPS here, I get it. And what I'm trying to do here is trying to split up 2 teams for the First Order. I really want to make a team out of crew with Executioner and Officer, and try to get somebody else here. And I know Special Forces isn't that big of a DPS person. He's an attacker here, and he can do some big damage, but it's not anything close to like an Executioner. The reason I like this guy though is that with this entire team, you have TM on literally everybody. If it's not TM, it's going to get speed up, and this Stormtrooper can give out TM on his special, 25%. Kylo here can give out 25% to all first order, and then plus another additional 25% if they have advantage. And with, you can't really see it here, but with Sith Trooper, he gives out a special, if you want to go check it out. Okay, so Sith Trooper has a special called Resurgent Power. It's on a cooldown of 3. Dispels all debuffs on all First Order and Sith allies, and they gain advantage for 2 turns. And then he's called to assist if he has advantage. So with this in mind, you will now, if we come back in game, you will now have advantage on everybody. And with Kylo Ren being here, he will be giving out a lot of TM. A lot of TM. And with Hux, he's going to give out some TM, but especially his bonus turn. With his bonus turn, you can either spam right back to a Kylo Ren, or you can spam right back to a Stormtrooper to give out even more TM. And I'm thinking of some specific modding to make sure that Sith Trooper is a tad slower than like a Stormtrooper or maybe even a Kylo, just so that he goes after all the TM gain happens, and that they can all get the maximum amount of turns that they can. So the reason I have Special Forces in this team is for this special right here. He does an AoE, he inflicts defense down for 2 turns on a critical hit. But most importantly, they gain speed up for 2 turns. Speed up, they're going to have 25% more speed. So this can really kind of, I wouldn't say it's going to stomp out some of these clones leads with like Rex or Shock T even, but it's going to neuter them a little bit because they're going to be on the same kind of the field of TM gain and speed with all this extra speed and TM gain. This is another thing I like about this guy. He can call another ally and stun them. So you're getting even more stuns and more turns because Sith Trooper can assist whenever somebody is stunned or critically hit. So this team, if you want to change really anything about this, maybe don't toss in Kylo Ren and you can instead toss in like an Executioner or maybe even Phasma. So that's the first team. And the second team here is with another Hux lead here with Sith Trooper. This is the Phasma team, and then you got Stormtrooper and Darth Malak. Darth Malak, I know he's probably a very, very important person to your GAC strategy and stuff like this that you might want to use here soon in your GACs. But guys, it is so important to spread around your Sith Empire, both offensively and defensively, and with what I'm trying to do here is I'm spreading these guys out defensively. Darth Malak is here because he has dual synergies with Sith Trooper, and what you get here with the synergy is this. Okay, so this is the kind of the same special. He's gonna grant Malak rather advantage and cleanse everybody, so that includes Malak. And also at the start of the battle, he gains advantage if the leader is First Order or Sith. And while he has advantage, he has extra critical damage. But this is the coolest thing here, I think. He is called to assist whenever somebody is stunned or critically hit. So pretty much all these extra turns are going to be generating. He's rather going to get a lot of extra hits in. And if somehow Sith or First Order is defeated, he's going to get a bonus turn. So pretty much what this is kind of centered towards is this. This is centered towards pretty much having the enemy team waste a very strong team. I'm talking like a CLS type of team, or even better, even Padme, versus this team, and trying to eke out as many of their banners as possible to make sure that they don't get maximum banners. And this is what that's going to do. You're going to have a taunt here. You're going to have actually 2 taunts between Malak and Stormtrooper, and then dominance. They can't. Enemies or whenever Hux has counter or this dominance thing, they can't counterattack. Or they can't get bonus team and stuff like that, and all the other guys can counterattack. It's really hard to kind of understand, but once you guys figure it out, there's a lot of synergies here within this First Order and Sith team. And just an idea here, you don't have to go for this Malak team, but it is a very, very good idea because with Phasma also you get even more TM. You're pretty much getting 50% TM here, and with Hux, if you want to, you can spam more attacks and more bonus turns on Phasma. And Malak's just here to be annoying, and you get some more somewhat DPS here, and it's just a good all-around team, I think. It's very, very strong. Alright, so we're going to kind of speed run some of these other ones. I have a few more I want to get to. So this next one, it does have R2 in it. R2 is really mainly here for his advantage on his smokescreen and also the stealth. Stealth is going to be really important to make sure that somebody like Stormtrooper gets all the hits, or Sith Trooper here does get all the hits. Pretty much this is the Stoll team. This is going to almost time out, I would say, versus most teams. And it's going to cause a lot of problems. Really, any team here with Hux and any of the cast will cause problems because of what's built into Hux's leadership and his Zeta on his unique. So it's just an idea here. You don't have to run this if you don't want to. It's just a little bit more tankiness with these 2 tanks. And then R2 can smoke up the tanks and make sure that they get all the hits. And that's that one. Next up here is some more offenses. these are offenses I thought were really interesting. This here isn't crazy of an offense. You do have EP, you have Vader, you have Sith Trooper, you have Hux, and then TIE Fighter Pilot. This can, I would say, if you have really, really good speeds, this can counter a lot of different teams. And I'm even thinking this can do a lot of work versus Padme teams, because with Hux, with his one special, let's bring it up really fast. Okay, so here is the special. It's called Oppressive Fire, and pretty much he gains 10% TM, and then whenever he has advantage, while he uses this special, it dispels all debuffs, or all rather buffs, from all enemies, and it can't be evaded. So this is going to really, really put a dent into those Padme teams, especially if you're trying to counter them. So, and on top of that, they got a call to assist for all First Order, dealing more damage. So this is a great team, and coming back in game, I think this is a really strong team to fight Padmes with now, more than ever before. And if you want to play it safe, you can even toss in a Thrawn instead of Sith Trooper, which I would probably recommend, honestly, because of the fracture on like a GK or Padme, but mainly the dispel from Hux. That's pretty big, guys. So that's that team. Another EP variation of a team here. I've been thinking about Traya. I don't think she's great because you typically see and use Traya versus Bugs or another type of team that is Traya and Scion, or even Traya, Nihilus, and Scion can just easily 2v5/3v5, right? So I was thinking more towards Emperor Palpatine in these theory crafts. So what we got here is another EP team. This one is created to counter Grievous's. And if you guys have seen my recent video on, not really recent video, it's been a while since I did a video on this, but it's EP with BSF, Nihilus, TIE Fighter Pilot, and then this would be Hux. This team can counter Grievous much better than it used to. With Hux, with his advantage on his unique, whenever he has advantage, they cannot gain bonus TM. And this totally makes it so B2 can never get his turn early on. Doesn't matter if Watt is there. Doesn't matter if it's like a whole maxed out Relic 17. This team, just theory crafting it, will probably most likely beat up those Grievous teams and get you some pretty decent banners versus the Grievous team. I'm talking like 56, 57 even banners. It doesn't even matter if the B1 goes first, because if the B1 goes first, well, guess what? B2 will not get his full TM like we just mentioned, because whenever somebody does evade, he has a % chance to get full TM. And with this Hux being here with advantage on the Zeta, he will never gain TM, and that's the most important thing here. With this, you're going to have to kind of pull off BSF. She is very required in this team, and Nihilus is too, so you can get Annihilate off onto Grievous. TFP is here because he's pretty quick. He can be around the same speed as BSF to apply the AoEs and his debuffs. So this is a great team. If any team here you guys were to look into, it would honestly be this team right here. For offense-wise, this team can do a lot of different work. Okay, so last but not least is a defense/offense team. This was probably, out of the ones I was thinking of, one of the most interesting. This is with crew lead and not Hux lead, because with this you're going to get more speed for one. You're going to get more TM on critical hits. You get more critical damage, and whenever you gain a status effect, you gain HP protection. So with this in mind, you're having so much DPS. Like, this team will probably be able to, I wouldn't say going to 100% counter Night Sisters, but it can probably, if you have very good speeds on everybody here, like First Order Officer and even crew, this will put a huge dent into most teams on offense. And it's going to be interesting how this can, with Hux, and how many different variations of teams that Hux can beat now with First Order. And also, not to mention, we do have Sith Trooper here, mainly for his cleanse and his other assists he can give out, and just cleanse. And the cleanse is so attractive to me. I love the cleanse a lot. And if he is, like I'm talking about, if he is, 7-star gear 12, gear 13, he and Executioner will be dishing out so much damage that I think this could really be viable. Probably not in Arena, but very good GAC team. So another thing here where I like this team is that you, between Hux and Officer, can spam so much TM. He can give out, not on Cup, but on Hux, you can give out a bonus turn to Officer, and he can spam 2 of these specials. He can spam 2 marching orders back to back. And that can do a loop with a lot of different people, but if I were to choose who I would loop this with, it would be with Executioner, just to get some big hits onto, like an example for the First Order versus Night Sister team, I would be doing a lot of loops onto Talzin to kill her first, and making sure that she dies and we're good to go, you know? So that's this team, and if you want to make it even easier, I could probably even toss in Watt here instead of Sith Trooper to fight that team, or even another team on defense. But that's it, guys. Some ideas I've been having here recently. Maybe you guys have some better teams that you guys theory crafted while we have been looking at the kits. But this is, I think, some of the best uses you can probably get out of your Hux and your Sith Trooper at low gear, low star. The first few weeks once he comes out marquee-ish, or if you want to farm him, you know, whatever way you want to. Personally, I'm not going to buy any packs for him. I'll just wait until he is farmable. But thank you guys for hanging out and watching this video. If you enjoyed the video today, give it a like, share it around. And if you are new here, feel free to sub. That's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all later.